Everybody wants a home server now, and I actually think that's a good thing. More people are starting to question why every photo, every document, every movie, every backup, and basically every piece of their digital life needs to live on somebody else's computer. People are tired of subscriptions. They're thinking more about privacy. They're thinking about ownership. And honestly, self-hosting has gotten a lot easier than it used to be. But there's something I keep seeing with people who are just getting started. They start with the server, they buy a used computer, maybe a mini PC, maybe an old workstation. They install Linux, Docker, or Proxmox. And then the next question is, what should I install? Nextcloud, Jellyfin, Image, Home Assistant, Pi-hole, Vault Warden, some dashboard, maybe 20 other containers somebody had in a YouTube video. And before you know it, you built this complicated system that looks impressive, but you still don't really know what problem it's solving. So if you're thinking about building your first home server, I want to give you a different starting point. Don't start with the applications. Start with the problem first, because a home server should actually do something useful for you. Maybe your family photos scattered across phones, Google Photos, old hard drives, and laptops. Maybe you're tired of paying for cloud storage every month. Maybe you want one place where everyone in your house can save important files. Maybe you want automatic backups. Maybe you have media collection that you want available on your own network. Or maybe you just want to learn Linux and understand how servers actually work. All of those are good reasons. But pick one. That's probably the biggest piece of advice I can give someone starting out. Pick one real problem and build around that problem. Because once you know what you're trying to accomplish, the hardware decisions actually get easier. If your goal is backing up a couple computers, you probably don't need a monster server. If your goal is storing a large media collection, storage capacity becomes much more important. If you're running Home Assistant in a handful of small servers, an inexpensive mini PC might be plenty enough. What's up, y'all? If you've been watching my channel for a minute, you already know I stay talking about Linux. And if you're looking for a solid, reliable enterprise Linux distro, let me put you on to Rocky Linux. This is the go-to replacement for CentOS, and it's built for the community, by the community. It's got everything you need for a stable and secure Linux experience, whether you're running servers, home labs, or enterprise workloads. And the best part, it's backed by CIQ, making sure it stays rock solid for the long haul. So if you're tired of these companies pulling a plug on your favorite distros, Rocky Linux is where you need to be. And I've covered Rocky Linux before, and trust me, it's worth checking out. So head over to rockylinux.org to learn more and get started. Keep it techie. Peace. The hardware should follow the workload, not the other way around. And I understand why people do it backwards. Home servers are fun. You see someone with a rack full of equipment, a nice dashboard, 20 services running, everything all color coded, and you think, man, I want that. There's nothing wrong with experimenting. That's how a lot of us learn. But if you're building something that your family is actually going to depend on, eventually it needs to become more than a science project. And that brings me to the second thing. The boring stuff matters more than the dashboard. Your storage matters. Your backups matter. Your documentation matters. And your recovery plan matters. And I know I talk about these things a lot, but probably more than most of the applications you're going to install. All of those things matter. So let's say you build a photo server. You move 10 years of family photos onto it. Everything works great. Then one day that one drive dies. What happens? If your answer is, I don't know, then the photo application wasn't really the most important part of that system. The backup was. And I want to make an important distinction here. Having multiple drives inside the same server does not automatically mean you have a backup. RAID, ZFS mirrors, redundancy, those things can protect you from certain hardware failures. They're useful, but if you accidentally delete something, corrupt something, misconfigure something, or the entire machine gets damaged, redundancy inside that same machine might not save you. Important data should exist somewhere else too. That could be another drive, another machine, another NAS, maybe even encrypted cloud storage for really important stuff. The exact solution is going to be different for everyone. The important part is understanding what data you cannot afford to lose and deciding how you're going to recover it before something goes wrong. And while you're doing that, document your setup. You don't need to write a 40-page enterprise manual. Just write down the basics. What machine is that? What operating system is installed? Where is the data stored? What services are running? Where are your configuration files? How do you restore them? What IP address did you give the server? You would be surprised how easy it is to forget something you configured 6 months ago, especially once your home server starts growing. And this is also where I would keep things local first. Before you worry about exposing services to the internet, make sure everything works properly inside your own network. Your laptop should be able to reach it. Your phone should be able to reach it while you're at home. Your backups should run. Your storage should be healthy. You should understand how to log into the server and maintain it. Get that foundation working first before remote access introduces another layer of responsibility. Because now you're talking about authentication, encryption, updates, firewalls, VPNs, reverse proxies, certificates, and none of those things are necessarily bad or impossibly complicated, but you don't need to solve all of that on day one. Get comfortable with the system locally, then expand. And that really leads into the third point. Replace one service first, not 10. If Google Photos is the thing you're trying to move away from, start with the photos. If Dropbox or OneDrive is costing you money every month, start with file storage. If your family has several computers with no real backup strategy, start with backups. If you've got a collection of movies and shows sitting on hard drives, maybe start with media. Build that one thing, use it for a while, break it, fix it, back it up, restore it. Learn what happens when the server reboots. Learn what happens when the power goes down. Learn how updates work. Then once the service becomes boring, add the next one. And I mean that in a good way. You want your infrastructure to become boring. You don't want to wake up every morning wondering whether your family photos are still there. You want the server to quietly do its job. That's one of the biggest differences between building a home server because it looks cool and building one that actually becomes useful. And the funny thing is, if you start this way, you will probably end up learning more Linux because now you're learning with a reason. You're learning permissions because your file share needs them. You're learning storage because your backups depend on them. You're learning networking because devices need that communication. You're learning SSH because you need to manage the machines. You're learning containers because you actually have a service you want to deploy. And those Linux skills start connecting to real problems. And that's exactly the type of learning I like. And that leads me to a course I want to talk about that I'm currently building. In the near future, I will have the latest Linux Plus course on my channel, as well as training documents and all that good stuff for you guys, so you guys can pass that Linux Plus exam by CompTIA, the latest one, which is 006. I also have practice exams and all that good stuff ready to go to help you guys out. But I'm excited that home servers are becoming more popular. I think more people controlling their own data is a good thing. I think having useful services inside your home network is a very good thing. And I think learning Linux by actually building something useful is one of the best ways to learn it. Just don't feel like your first home server needs to look like somebody else's 5-year home lab. Start small, solve one problem, figure out what matters to you, build a real backup, document what you did, keep it local while you're learning, then add services when you actually have a reason to add them. Because the goal isn't to see how many containers you can fit on one screen. The goal is to build something you understand, something you can recover, and something that actually makes your digital life better. And I'd be curious to hear from you guys. If you're already running a home server, what was the first useful service you put on it? And if you're thinking about building one, what problem are you actually trying to solve? Go down and drop that down in the comments. And depending on how much interest there is, we can follow this up with an actual practical build where we put together a simple local first starter server and walk through the foundation step by step. But that's all I have for you guys today. Thanks for watching. If you're interested in Linux, self-hosting, home labs, or just trying to take a little more control over your technology, make sure you subscribe to the KeepItTechie channel. And as always, keep building, keep learning, and of course, keep it techie. Peace.